So the Denver Broncos got completely screwed out of a victory Sunday against the Colts. I understand that they gave up 500 yards of offense. Bo Nix is about to throw this interception, but man, was that last call very, very questionable. Let's break down this pick. So Nix is in shotgun. His eyes are down the field. He's reading the defense. You can see the linebacker right here is in the middle, and he's just reading this tight end. So now it's just a matter of one of these crossers getting open. It ends up being Cortland Sutton. He's going to be wide open, as you guys are going to see. Nix throws it. He's got a window. There's a defender here. That's Nick Cross. There's Joe Bacci. And then, of course, you've got a defensive back trailing Sutton. So as long as he just throws his ball right into this window, Cortland Sutton is going to catch it. But because Grover Stewart is applying pressure, this is a bad angle. But if we go back a half second, look at this. That's a lot of pressure. And Grover Stewart's like 6'4", so he has a hand up. His right hand is pressuring as Nix is going to throw it. And then that's how this ball ends up sailing on Nix. And man, is this a very bad miss because you've got Cam Bynum, the safety, former Viking, out here. And he's just able to dive on top of the ball. This takes points off of the board. Any sort of points, the Broncos win this game. Such a costly mistake. Here's another look at it. I mean, all this is just literally it's a double cross route, man. Look. And then you've got, of course, a receiver on the left out here to sort of pull that guy away. And then you bring in this tight end to get Bacci away. It literally ends up being wide open, man. Now, Bo Nix just has to throw it right here. And then Bynum able to just go out and dive and make a great play. The one kind of mistake the Broncos made was right here. As you could see, it's just Cortland Sutton. He's kind of confused because he comes in, runs that like inbreaker, and then he has to step around the other receiver. And that I didn't even notice that actually when I watched it live until now. This is another possession. This is a 42-yard field goal. The Broncos, if they make this, they go up 5 points with about like 3:19 remaining, something like that. If they don't make it, which they end up not, then it stays a 2-point game. Will Lutz makes these kicks in his sleep. I mean, I don't know what the hell happened. It's just he pulled it to the right. And then the Colts, they only throw the ball once the next 3 minutes. Everything's on the ground. Another Jonathan Taylor handoff. And he's picking up some yardage. That's like 7 yards right there. And then this one here is to the left. The Broncos do a good job getting to the football, probably like a couple of yards at best there. And another handoff to JT. This time they're all over it. I don't even think they gained anything on that. And now they are going to throw. Just Alec Pierce across the middle. Good ball. Good pickup. And for the Broncos, they realize that, hey, look, a field goal from here is about 62, 63-ish yards. The Broncos realize that. They know that they have no timeouts. So the Colts, what do? Because their kicker doesn't have the biggest leg. They hand it off to JT. He's going to get like a couple of, I think 2 yards it looked like. And then on this run, the Broncos are all over it. They stuff him. There's nothing on that. And then this is literally the last play for the Colts. And they're going to lose 2 yards. So now this sets up a 60-yard field goal. Spencer Strader hasn't made a 60-yard field goal in his life as a collegiately or in the NFL. So the Broncos' perfect scenario, all they have to do is stay disciplined. Don't even rush. Just let him try to make it. And then this is where it happens. Leverage. Here's the center. See, number 92 is going to try to use him to get up and get an angle and try to get his hand up and block this. Watch number 92. He just jumps up, puts his hand up, doesn't even come close. The kick's wide right. The Broncos win this football game. They go to 2-0 in the season with the Chargers. No, wait, that's right. They don't. Is this the right call? You guys can decide that. I mean, you go from a 60-yarder to a 45-yarder. Just disappointing because the Broncos, they made mistakes. So did the Colts. But this feels like they played well enough to find a way to win this game. Doesn't always have to be pretty. The defense can't carry every single game, but I thought the offense played very, very well. Bo Nix was efficient. He was decisive. The run game got going. J.K. Dobbins had a very, very good game, and I gave him a lot of crap in my last video. He finishes with 76 rushing yards and a touchdown, had a 23-yard explosive run. Bo Nix had 20 yards rushing. Troy Franklin had to carry it for 11 yards. The Broncos rushed for 118 yards. They didn't rush for over 100 yards very often last season. It never happened. And they do it. Bo Nix throws for 3 touchdowns. But unfortunately for the Broncos, they gave up 500 yards of total offense. Just about. Bo Nix had a costly interception that took points off the board, and they missed a 42-yard field goal. And that gave the Colts just enough because of how many yards and how many points they put up to be able to squeeze out of here with a win. It just sucks to see such a good football game come down to a leverage call. Seemed like the officials had a hand in this game way more than they should have. There were a couple of the calls that went against the Colts that kind of screwed them early on. But I mean, we're talking about the last play of the game. You don't want it to come down to the refs. I mean, I get leverage is leverage, but that doesn't have any sort of factor into how the play goes. And the Broncos, because of it, they go from 2-0 to now 1-1. And this is a game that Denver had to get. I told you guys that. I said Denver needs to win this game because their schedule upcoming is very, very difficult. Like I said, they're going to be taking on the Chargers, which is Sunday. It's going to be like Sunday afternoon. And the Bengals game, actually without Burrow, that becomes a lot easier. That's a home game. As terrible as it is to say, Jake Browning, the game becomes very, very winnable, Monday Night Football. But that was supposed to be one of the better games of the year. Remember the last time these two teams played, it went to overtime. Philadelphia at Philly, that's going to be a brutal game. And then, of course, you got the Jets, Giants, Cowboys, nothing crazy. It's kind of good that they have those games, but yeah, I mean, with the Chargers, I mean, there's a chance the Broncos could very well fall to 1-2, be under 500, and then the Bengals game, Eagles. But I really wanted that Colts one because it would have set you up to be 2-0 with probably 2 Super Bowl contenders upcoming. But hey, man, they didn't. They lost. It's life. Can't win every single game. I'm looking forward to what the Broncos do next and making adjustments. But it was very, very unusual to see the defense struggle as much as it did because it wasn't like they were applying pressure. I thought the zero blitzes worked very, very well. They were dialed up nicely by Vance Joseph, of course. But in terms of the run defense, I mean, 167 yards. I don't have the yards per carry. I think JT at the top of my head had 6.6 yards per carry. Like, you're never going to win a football game when a running back does that to you. Daniel Jones throws for 316 yards and a touchdown. The Colts didn't turn it over. The Colts didn't punt. The Broncos lost by 1 like that, and they did some stupid stuff. It's just wild to think about, man. Tyler Warren looked like a man possessed. 4 for 79. Had a 41-yard catch. He just got wide open down the field. Also had that tight end screen kind of late in this game. Alec Pierce had a big 44-yard catch. The Broncos secondary was awful. I mean, Pat Surtain was great, but outside of him, I mean, it was very questionable to say the least. I just look back on this game, and Denver was very, very sloppy. And you got to give credit to the Colts, though, because the last time these two teams played, they had simply nothing to offer against this Broncos defense. They couldn't move the ball. They certainly didn't have a passing game. Anthony Richardson probably had like 100 passing yards in that game. And then Daniel Jones goes out there and just moves the ball and pushes it down the field effortlessly, gets it into his guys' hands. He made some tough throws. Denver's secondary, I say it wasn't good. It had tight coverage. It's just there's only so much you can do when Daniel Jones has a perfectly thrown football. He threw his receivers open as well. I mean, I looked at the tape earlier today. Daniel Jones was awesome. Denver, it was a very disappointing game. But I think this says more about the Colts than it does the Broncos. I mean, the Colts look legit. They look scary. They were without their top corner in Charvarius Ward. They were out without another starting corner in Jalen Jones. So it kind of makes sense why Bo Nix looked so damn good. Was able to push the ball down the field. But I think the Broncos can take a lot away from this game. They need to clean up certain things. Again, I don't have the tape in front of me right now. But there was a lot of times where a Broncos defender would run into each other. Or, of course, they'd commit a silly penalty like a roughing or pass interference. And this front is so good. And they just, of course, they're going up against the number 1 rated offensive line in football in week 1. And Indianapolis Colts. But I would have liked to see the Broncos honestly blitz a little bit more and make Daniel Jones think with the ball and think quickly and be accurate. Because when he was just dropping back in his zone, he was able to find windows and buy time. And the Colts offensive line with Tanner Bortolini and Mac and Calves and Big Hugh, it's just so good. Bernard Ryman. Like the Broncos rush have the best pass rush in football. I mean, them are the Eagles, but again, an offensive line, all you need to do is just keep Daniel Jones protected for even 3 seconds, and he's going to find someone, and that's kind of what happened. Denver will learn from this. They'll be better. They sure as hell better be. They've got a week, of course, and literally, less than a week, 6 days until they play the Chargers. They're going to be on a short week because they play tonight. Now all of a sudden, week 3 feels like you've got to get it. You don't want to fall to 1-2. You don't want to be under 500. It'd be great to see the Broncos bounce back here on the road and beat the Chargers after they got swept last season. But I'm honestly more encouraged by the Broncos after this game than I am discouraged because the offense did a complete 180. It was terrible against the Titans, and in this game they were able to, again, push the ball down the field. Bo Nix looked good. It's just that one throw really cost the Broncos this game, and I know Nix would like to have it back. The pressure was there. But the Colts just played a great game. The crowd was loud. It's just a much different Colts team, but the Broncos still have to be better. At the end of the day, there really isn't an excuse. But yeah, I guess I'm out, guys. Peace. Should have got a video out for you earlier. I just guess I wanted to win a day. It was a tough loss for sure.